a lot of people, it's everywhere at parties. It's everywhere, and everyone's all like, "Oh, I'm gonna get on that. Yeah, sure." Just so they can be part of the group.
About earlier.
Yeah.
I took my first drink when I was 14. I smoked my first joint when I was 16. Namely, marijuana had become just a part of my life. It wasn't partying, it was functioning.
If I wanted to, I could go get some right now. It's really available. I'd say marijuana use is definitely more prevalent in our school than it used to be. Most kids say tobacco is gross, and so they turn towards marijuana. They think it's not why do you smoke marijuana? It's why shouldn't you smoke marijuana? People think that getting high makes them feel better, and they like to be high, so why shouldn't they? And they don't believe marijuana has any negative effects on them.
Many parents at Alley's Massachusetts school don't see any problems with pot either.
You've got a lot of parents now that come in and they'll look at me as a vice principal and they'll say, "Mark, what's the big deal? It's just marijuana. It's not a big deal."
We had parents flat out say, you know, I'd rather have my kids smoking pot than drinking. I feel like it's less harmful.
In Massachusetts, the relaxed attitude towards marijuana began in earnest after voters approved a measure in 2008. It decriminalized an ounce or less of marijuana and muddied the waters about marijuana use in the state.
I would talk to adults in the community that they were confused about decriminalization, and they really thought it was legalization.
Marijuana, I would not have used cocaine, methamphetamines, painkillers.
Marijuana users are 8 times more likely to use cocaine and 15 times more likely to use heroin. Still sound harmless? It's a fact.
We said that would be a recreational thing, and I had heard that marijuana wasn't addictive, so it wasn't a big deal, and that's the way I dealt with marijuana for a long time. I told myself that I was not addicted to it, and that because there's no physical withdrawal from it, that I could stop anytime that I wanted to. Becoming paranoid schizophrenic after a 2-week binge, and I was in the hospital for the first time 8 days, and it happened 3 times, and by the last time I was detoxing for 18 days. And you know, here I am, 20 years old, you know, all-American athlete in college 1 minute, you know, suicidal, psychotic the next. Marijuana certainly played the biggest role in leading me down my path, and
data is showing many teens in Massachusetts communities don't see any dangers to smoking marijuana.
Since that law passed in 2008, kids' perception of how harmful marijuana is decreased. Our data 2 years ago showed that about roughly 60% of kids thought regular use of marijuana was harmful. 2 years later, in our most recent survey this past March, that rate dropped 10 percentage points to 49%.
Student surveys showed marijuana usage among teens is becoming more prevalent.
We saw a little bit of a decrease in alcohol use among youth, but an uptick in marijuana use. And this was aligning with what law enforcement was seeing, physicians were seeing. So we put this together and we said, you know, this is an issue that we have to address, and what can we do in the community to do that?
With many coalitions around the state seeing the same problems with marijuana, coalition leaders decided uniting was the best way to serve their individual communities.
Massachusetts Prevention Alliance is a group of different people in the prevention field working at the local level, as joining as a united force to address policy issues that impact youth in the state.
As a group, MAPPA has standardized talking points for coalitions, sued the state about the language for a new ballot initiative, and is ready to continue the fight, no matter what.
It's a beast. It's been a freight train, and we are a grassroots mobilization effort with very limited resources, and we're going up against very well-organized, very deeply funded oppositional force. It's not over. It's never going to be over. I mean, you know, it's going to be a constant battle until the public opinion on this issue turns.